this episode, we are not going to say the word like. It's a thinking word, and we will not be saying it at all for you. Thank you. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Number 2 podcast. I'm Glenn.
I'm Simi.
And this episode is going to be shit. This episode is brought to you by
Candles.
It's the correct pronunciation. Those things that you use to go to the bathroom late at night when there's no lighting.
Some call it wax.
Wax. No, nobody calls it wax.
Negating?
There's no negating in the candle commercial.
Yes, and
they do.
They do call it wax.
I'm going to go to the store and get a wax. Meet me. I'm at Target. Meet me. Where are you? Meet me at the wax aisle. I don't know where to go. Excuse me, do you work here? My friend's at the wax. What wax?
It's organic wax made by the bees.
Where they get the wax for the museum, for the celebrities.
It's
this podcast brought to you by Wax. Waxine, wax off.
Madame, what is that? Madame Maisel? No.
Madame Puceau.
Madame Tussaud?
Madame Tussaud. Madame. Who is Madame Tussaud?
Who is she, and why was she like, I'm going to make a wax figure of people who are really well known?
Talk about stalker behavior. And then I'm going to charge people for it.
What a nightmare.
What a nightmare. All right, guys. On this episode, we are going to be discussing 3 really good topics. We're going to be breaking down music festivals. There's a lot of those going on right now. We're going to be talking about books. And then we're also going to be talking about Broadway. So let's dive right in.
All things I love talking about.
Really?
I do.
Good. Then you're on the right pod episode.
We're in the pod. Is this Love is Blind?
Yeah, I'm blind.
I'm in love.
Blind to my reality. I gotta keep covering my nipples. This shirt. How do women do it? This is why you don't buy your athleisure from H&M.
Girl, your big old titties hanging out.
Got my big old titties. Ew. So how was your week, Simi?
Peachy.
Was the highlight?
Oh, just producing a bunch of stuff.
That's very specific and interesting.
Yeah, I have another podcast coming out called Mic'd Up with Michelangelo.
What's that one about?
It's about being mic'd up.
They don't do topics? It's just about wearing a microphone?
Yeah, wearing a microphone and talking about all things related to
wearing a microphone.
And
that's how your week was.
Yeah, I'm super excited about it. But other than that, how was your week?
What's today? Sunday?
The days just go by.
The days of our lives.
Like sand through the hourglass, so are the days of our lives.
For the Hospital of Generals. I mean, it exists and it happened. I got stuck in a parking garage today. I didn't have enough money to get out.
Oh, I was going to ask you, how did that happen? But
sometimes Apple, you subscribe to things and they take the money whenever they want.
It's usually how subscriptions work.
So while I was not actively watching the streaming apps that I had somehow purchased,
I do.
I have them. And when I put the ticket in, it said I owed more money than I had. So I had to get out of my car. Well, first I had to get the ticket out, which was like launching a nuclear.
Oh, that's mortifying. Were there like people behind you?
Yeah, there's 3 cars behind me.
Here we go.
And of course, like any parking garage, they don't wait at the line. They wait right up on your ass. So I had to go. And she knew what I meant.
Wait, what did you do?
I said,
how do you signal for people to back up?
I looked her dead in the eye in the mirror, and I said, when she saw that I wasn't getting out.
There was no like hand movement of like, hey, could you please?
No.
There was just like, you know exactly what's going on.
She was on the end. She was in the wrong because you're supposed to wait at the line in case this happens, and in case cars need to pass. And people do this all the time because this is where like people go and charge their Teslas, and they're always
at
in a
that
rush.
Specific garage, because not all garages are like that.
are not as organized. Yeah, but this one is very organized.
Okay.
And normally affordable. Anyway,
Subscribe.
so that was my week. But yeah, on to our first topic.
Women's reproductive.
No, that's
Oh,
not the topic you're introducing.
Thundercats.
Not Thundercats.
Oh. Our next topic is music festivals. And there's been some crazy stuff going on lately with these music festivals.
What happened?
Well, let me tell you. Lovers and Friends got canceled.
Why is it called Lovers and Friends?
That's really none of your business.
Who's naming these festivals? Like Coachella? What does that even mean? That's the Valley, right? Where they have it. So that makes sense.
Wait, there's a Coachella like city?
I assume.
There probably is. But it's not in Coachella.
What's another music festival? Lollapalooza? Like,
That's Chicago now.
I don't think so.
You went to school in Chicago. You should know this.
But I never went to Lollapalooza.
Oh, yeah. I think it is Chicago. But they probably have it in different cities now.
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, that's why
let us know in the comments if you know.
This is why it's our topic today. Music festivals are confusing. Have you ever been to a music festival? What is the point? People are planning and saving months, years in advance for these things.
I think it's gotten kind of out of hand with this whole social media thing, but I think you're supposed to go for the music, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, that's obvious. Like, that makes sense. People go because you get to see like 100 artists at once, so that's what makes it worth it. But it's like, it's become insane. And then you have something like Lovers and Friends where they cancel it on the day for fake wind. You know what I mean? Like Usher was literally rehearsing.
I didn't know it was like Disney where you got to cancel the fireworks if it's windy.
Yeah.
I mean, was it like blizzard windy?
No, it wasn't bad. I mean, Vegas always has bad weather, so it's like, I don't understand. It's either hot or it's windy or it's raining or it's flooding. Like, it's literally a horrible desert. That's why it's there, right? And the stage is covered. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I don't understand. And then what's crazy is Madonna performed in Brazil for 2 million people. Like, and half of them were in the ocean. Like, it's like, how do you get an ocean ticket? It's literally insane. So like that was allowed to go on, but I don't know. It's insane.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
All the artists are posting just like getting ready and being like, I don't know, it's canceled. Like there's nothing I can do.
Something fishy going on there.
Something fishy going on.
Use the insurance to,
Fish,
fraud.
The band is in Vegas right now, so it could be something fishy. They're playing the Sphere.
I know of a bunch of people who actually like went out to Vegas just for this. So it's like, how does that work when you're like coming all the way from out of town?
You said like.
I do say like a lot. We've been known to say like a lot in this podcast, so we're trying not to like it up. Like.
We're trying to do better because only 10 people are watching this podcast. And I think it's because the likes. It has nothing to do with us.
So like and subscribe.
So like and subscribe because this is what it's come to. What do you think of music festivals? Have you ever been to a music festival?
Yes. I have been.
Like you bought a ticket?
No.
So you've never been?
I have been, but I've worked them.
Yeah. So that's not relatable.
No.
I've never been to a music festival either.
I've never been like one of those kids who've been like drugged up at a music festival, just like all crazy, inebriated. I've just been there to work.
Yeah. So let us know in the comments what the hype is. Have you guys ever been to a music festival? To me, it just doesn't seem desirable. I hate to judge something that I haven't tried, but there's not like one artist where I'd be like, I have to go. You know what I mean? Like to want to like use a porta potty and eat overpriced carnival food.
I went to Rolling Loud for the first time. I worked it and stuff. And it was my first festival that I went to. And I ended up on stage.
Insert clip here.
No, we're not going to insert the clip. But yeah, it was RJ. And they needed someone to come on the stage that were like, we were supposed to be DEA agents, like FBI or something. And we were raiding him on stage. So I was like a security guard who like had to run on stage and tackle RJ and get him off stage. It was fun. It was interesting. And I was like, okay, first festival and I end up on stage. This is my life. And I feel like crazy things like that happen to me all the time. It's kind of weird. Like this podcast.
So crazy.
If you go to music festivals, make sure that you eat before because...
Tips for music festivals from two people that have never been. Wear
Really cool clothes.
Really cool clothes that you spent a lot of time picking out. Men wear skirts. Women wear trousers.
And Air Force Ones.
Your bandana or handkerchief color means something, and it's sexual.
It does?
Yes.
It does.
You need to bring a clear purse because otherwise they will throw away your contraband.
But be safe, have fun, and hydrate.
For America.
The beauty, the great.
And just know that your friends will be watching your posts on social media at home going, I'm so happy I'm not there.
But I secretly wish I was.
Your friends will be at home watching Beyonce perform from better angles on YouTube live while you're sweating.
Touching other people.
Having somebody grind on you named Gerard while you rush to the VIP stage. All right, our next topic on the pod is books. Are you guys still reading books? What are you doing about all your old books?
Joke's on you. I can't read.
I have been with Simi for 10 years, 9 years, and I've never seen him read a book.
That's because there are audiobooks nowadays. So I've actually read tons of books, but I've just listened to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you guys listening to books or are you reading books?
Who's got time to read?
Who has time to read?
I multitask. I listen to my book while I run, or I walk, or I'm cleaning, or I'm driving.
Yeah, I do that too.
Or other podcasts.
Reading is hard. It feels like it's hard to find a good book.
But reading is
fundamental. But that's not real reading. That's like being mean.
Story of my life.
On this episode of Glenn's podcast, Semi's doing a character. I don't know who it is, but it's wonderful.
Glenn.
Yeah, I can't even tell you the last book I read. And what is with coffee table books? People keep buying me coffee table books for my birthdays, for Christmas.
We have a lot of them.
I literally don't have a coffee table. And, you know, I don't think coffee tables are even real because who is making a cup of coffee and then putting it on like the little table in front of your seating? Like it goes on a side table.
I think it's supposed to be for your guests while they sit in the living room waiting for you to brew the cup of tea in the kitchen while they peruse.
Yeah, but the majority of people, like if you're given a cup of coffee, you're going to put it on the side table. You're not going to like go down.
Yeah, but like you're going to like probably look at the books on the table and like flip through them while you're waiting because you might not have a phone.
Anyway, it's like I get it, but what are we doing? You know what I mean? Like at what point are we done with books? Like I have nothing against books. Like reading is important. It is like a way to communicate, but in the digital age, like
books are very important. And hey, there are avid readers out there.
Yeah, I mean, there are people that like
love that.
Were blessed with like the correct chemical combinations in their brain to be able to like maintain focus on like reading.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like then there's other people who I think the womb was like shaken too much or something.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And then the structure did not support it. And as my 5th grade teacher said, we offer 5th grade every year. So
what did my 5th grade teacher say? My 5th grade teacher said, Simi, you can't start clubs and not have everybody in it. Therefore, you cannot have this club anymore. This exclusive club that you started in 5th grade, you must end it because the other kids are getting mad that they can't join your crew. And I said, fine. Anyway.
Do you think the last time I read a book was in 5th grade? I mean, I went to college. There were hard books I know I was reading.
I've recently read books.
But like books.
Yeah.
Like you picked up a book.
I mean.
It can't be an audio book.
No. By recently, it was in my late 20s.
Yeah.
Before the audio thing got like popular.
I don't know. It's crazy because it's like I used to like put them next to my bed because I'm like, oh, I'm going to read this before I go to bed. But it's like then you're just on TikTok.
The fact that you read before bed to make you go to sleep is kind of telling.
Well, it's relaxing. It's not saying about the book. It like helps you unwind your brain and like turn your imagination on instead of like.
So does scrolling through TikTok.
Yeah, but one is like enriching your brain and the other one is like selling you things.
TikTok is very educational. Thank you very
Mm.
much. I've learned a lot.
Yeah, I think the science is still out.
What book have you read recently or listened to recently?
None.
That's a lie. You read the Walt Disney book. Not Walt Disney. I'm so sorry. He's not Walt Disney. He is Bob Iger. I mean, tomato.
Years ago, you read that.
You just recently read that, no?
The most recent book I've listened to is I listened to Arnold Schwarzenegger's new book. It was like
Oh.
my last day at Amazon.
I
It's okay.
listened to the Bob Iger book, and then also who is
Michael Vitz. Yeah, I listened to
who
that
is
too.
Michael Vitz?
That was like 5 months ago, though.
Was that 5 months ago?
Yeah, it was like during Christmas. Because January, February, March, April. It's basically May. 4 months.
Well, that's not the recent.
December.
Right now, I'm listening.
I was like, that's a long time ago.
To it's called The Millionaire Next Door. I think that's the actual title.
Yeah,
it's alright so far. I'm like kind of in it right now, but
trying.
Yeah, but that's the one that I'm currently on right now.
Dang. Anyway, we're just curious. What are you guys reading? What are you into?
Have you downloaded any audiobooks?
No,
lately?
I can't afford it. I have nothing.
Subscribe.
Books. Are you still reading books? Are you selling your books? Are you going to the bookstore? You know what they have at the bookstore? Really good treats at the coffee shop.
Oh God,
so good.
Which bookstore?
The only one there's only one bookstore that exists, unless it's private. Borders went out of business years ago.
Barnes and Nobles.
Barnes and Noble is the only thing that still exists.
This episode is sponsored by Barnes and Nobles. It's not.
They don't have any money.
It's not.
No one knows how they're open. Their books are so expensive. If you go on Amazon and compare the price to Barnes and Noble, it's insane. Amazon ain't cheap anymore either, but it'll be like half the price. It's sad. All right, we'll move on to our next topic.
Being the worst podcasters
Being the worst podcasters alive.
But this podcast is shit.
Do you want to listen to a podcast that's not funny at all and provides no value? This is the one.
You look good, honey. These lights made a difference. We got, they're not new lights. We just got our lights back.
Holding.
From Customs.
All right, our final topic on the podcast is Broadway. The Tony nominations are out. Do you guys care? Does anybody care about Broadway anymore?
Broadway,
I even heard of the Tony Awards?
Yes, of course.
Before you met me? Really?
Yes, of course. I just didn't go to actual shows before I met you.
When I was in college, I worked at a gym. I was a manager at a gym. And there are so many TVs in gyms for some reason, even though you don't need to watch TV at the gym because you're there to work out. But
the game, bro.
Yeah. So, and in the main thing, they had like 5 TVs, and they would always be on ESPN or CNN or MSNBC
or Fox News.
No Fox News, not in Chicago. Not in Chicago.
At 24-Hour Fitness.
In Chicago, they would throw you on the train tracks for watching Fox News. Even the conservatives, literally, they'd be like, "You got a problem?" I don't know. I can't do a Chicago accent, but
the Bears.
Nobody says that there. That's offensive. Anyway, so I worked there 2 days a week for 4 years, and sometimes overnights. And I always worked on the weekends because I was at school during the week. And one Sunday, the Tonys were on, and I asked. Normally, I could do whatever I wanted because the big boss wasn't there. But the big boss, he had like manorexia, basically. Like he was like really into dieting for his like racing or something, and then he like dieted too hard. So he would literally have these like little cups of cauliflower that he'd like measure. Nice guy, but he needed help. Anyway, so there was a new sheriff in town, and it was this like mean woman who may or may not have been with another woman. And she was mean, really mean. And she would not let me watch the Tony Awards at work. And I said to this woman, I go, "I've been a manager here for longer than you've worked at the company." And I go, "There are 5 TVs on that wall, and you're telling me I cannot, as a supervisor, stand here?" And the TVs are muted.
Yeah.
There's no sound. Also, nobody's watching them because it's the lobby of a gym. They're in the gym. Like, nobody's out here watching basketball. And she goes, "No, Like, it's the company aesthetic. I'm like, where does it say that?
Not the company aesthetic.
Where does it say that? And then this woman, not this is a true story. She goes, come with me. And she was mad at me because I
Questioned her?
well, probably, but she was mad at me because I told this gym is like really high end and super nice, super clean, like amazing people. Everybody, the whole staff had been with me for all 4 years and they've been there for like 10 years. And she goes, come with me. She goes, don't you have other things to do? Whatever. So she took me to the dumbbell rack and she told me that the dumbbells where it says like the number, like 5, 10, 15, had to all like read like a book. And again, this isn't my job. Like, this has never been my job for 4 years to fix the dumbbells. Like, I'll pick up a pair of dumbbells, but it's not my job to fix the dumbbells. So she goes, I need you to fix it. And I was like, excuse me? Like, and she's like, I need you to fix it. She's like, it's your job to tell the people that are supposed to do it, because there's people that fix the equipment, to do it. But because you can't tell them properly to do it, you have to do it. So I was like, well, I'm going to go to the bathroom. So I basically took my keys. I'd worked there for 4 years. Took my keys, I put them on her desk, and I just left.
That was the last time?
Yeah.
And that was the last time you ever saw Glenn.
And I like loved that job. Like, I loved every single person that worked there. I loved everybody in corporate. Like, people had tried to promote me before, but I was still in school full time. And it just takes one evil, evil, evil person. I mean, this lady was on a power trip. It was horrible. And I just wanted to stand there and watch the Tony Awards. I mean, I didn't need the job at the time. I was working full time somewhere else, but
yeah.
And I was doing them the favor because nobody wanted to open on Mondays because you had to get there at 4 a.m. And then the whole staff turned on her because everybody loved me. Like, I'd worked there for 4 years. Every single member knew my name. Like, and everybody told me, like, every single person, because I was friends with everybody.
Yeah.
They told me they were like, people are miserable. Like, they're like, nothing is the same.
Some people are like that. I had that situation too, where like you have this person who is an authority, and then everybody is just like, oh, they're like this and like that. And then you're trying to tell them, no, like they don't mean it like that. They mean it like this. And you're trying to put out fires. And then finally, that person, you just had enough with that person. And then you leave. And once you leave, it's like
Chaos.
Dominoes.
Yeah.
Everyone else is just like, peace, peace, peace,
Bye.
peace. Because you're not that middleman anymore to put out those fires and be like, look, it's not that bad. They don't mean it like this. They mean it like that. And just give it a chance.
Yeah. It's horrible. I mean, anybody, if you're making less than $200,000 a year, like, even then, like, you don't own the business. Like, why do you care that much? You know what I mean? It's like, why are you trying to hurt people? What do you have to gain? Like, that's what I don't understand.
There's just people who are just crappy people who are just unhappy with life and stuff. So
no, but it's like the people that are doing this think there's a reward, and there's not a reward. There's no reward unless you own the business. There's no, like, for her, like, she's became the general manager of this club. I think she was like a training manager at one of the smaller locations, and then she was like kind of on the bench. And then when this guy dipped, like, that's how she got the job. But it's like, there's no job above that job.
Well, some people, like, they live in the matrix and they have power trips, especially when you have those or become into those positions.
Well, I get it. I mean, I get it, but like, I have no patience for it because it's like, there's nothing to gain. Like, you are the problem because you're probably the person that's enabling the person above you to get away with whatever they're getting away with. You know what I mean? It's like what you're saying, like, when you're the middle person and you're like putting out all the fires, like, you're the problem.
Yeah.
Because you need to let the person that's causing the fires feel their consequences. You know what I mean? Like, let everybody quit.
And I'll tell you the truth. I've been in corporate America where nobody knows what the they're doing. They really don't. Like, even to the highest of highest, like, sometimes I would ask myself, like, how the did you get your position? Like, you know, and I mean, whatever, there is a hierarchy. So you're just like rolling with the punches. But there are that small percentage of people who are just fantastic and know exactly what they're talking about and just kind of like have the roadmap and can just like see it. And you're like, that's the person I want to be one day. And there's other people who you're just like, you probably have like a really good speaking voice and you can, you know, you probably have like a big jar of jargon that, you know, that's like very corporate, but you know jack shit and you're making it up as you go.
Yeah, I hear that. I think we're going to change the name of this podcast to the Betty, bitches, better butter
Hey, you already tuned in. You already knew that
podcast.
this podcast was shot.
By episode 12, we'll be done complaining and we'll have circled back to inspiring.
Because that's what we're here for, to inspire America.
To teach you how to be toxic so that you can do better. Broadway, the Tony Award. We didn't even talk about the Tonys.
Let's circle back.
Let's circle back. Anyway, the Tony Awards are out. Do you guys care? I care.
So you definitely wanted to watch those Tonys.
I mean, I haven't seen any of the shows. I can't afford it. Can't go to New York. I can watch the press they do online. Some of the soundtracks are out, but
one that I'm really excited about that you showed me, which I didn't even know was a thing, was The Outsiders.
Oh yeah, they made Outsiders into a musical. Jury's still out on it, but
I mean, I saw some of the choreography that you showed me. I was impressed.
I mean, it's hard, like, until you see the show. It's really difficult to...
It's kind of giving Newsies. And I love Newsies. It's one of my favorite.
Yeah. The music is not Newsies.
No, it seems it kind of looks like, from what I've seen, a little bit more of an edgier Newsies.
Yeah.
Did you ever read that book
No.
in middle school?
No.
Oh, really? I feel like that was like standard reading in middle school.
It's a book?
Yeah.
And now it's a Broadway musical that we'll never see.
I want to see it though. See, that's the thing now, is that all these like musicals and stuff that come out and they're all brand new in New York or wherever else in England, you know, West End. I just have FOMO now. Like, I'm never going to get to see that. Like, because especially when they first come out, they're like just super expensive. And then, you know, once they go on their tour, it's like a little bit more digestible.
Well, the other thing is the tours, no offense to tour people, but it's not as good of a show.
It's not the same.
It's not the same. The original cast of a show is always the best.
Yeah, they would like really workshop it.
And a lot of the shows are already closing that are nominated. So you'll literally never see them.
Are you sad about The Notebook not getting... But they didn't get something.
They didn't get Best Musical.
Best Musical.
But they got plenty of other
Okay.
nominations. A lot of the other shows I don't know anything about. Like Limpika, I don't know anything about it. I do some more research. Anyway, are you guys going to watch the Tony Awards? Ariana DeBose is hosting again. And there'll be a script this year because the actors are not on strike. She's not going to be improvising the whole thing.
That's exciting. What other musicals are you excited about that you haven't seen yet, obviously?
I don't even know.
I know that
I
you
don't
like
know
to
any
know
others.
there's The Outsiders.
I don't know anything about the other shows.
Okay.
Because you have to understand, if there's not a soundtrack, you can read about it, but a lot of shows don't even get soundtracks.
Get into the studio and make your soundtrack.
It won't make any money because they never do. It'll bankrupt your producers, but do it.
It's 2024 though. My next door neighbor has music on Spotify. You can do it.
Anyway.
I think that's what we should do, is we should make music. That's what I'm going to do. I really want to get into learning music software like Logic or Ableton or FL Studio. I think that's what it's called. I don't even know, but
You should do it.
one day.
Thanks for watching this podcast, episode number 8.
Everything is great.
A Festival of Likes, the Cacophony.